Buongiorno, buongiorno, come stai, Mary Beth?
Sto bene, sto bene. Mio figlio e la mia nuora ci hanno sorpresa con una visita,
Bello,
sì, per la fine settimana.
bene, bello, excellent. Buongiorno, Doug, come stai?
Sta bene, grazie.
Sei entusiasta oggi? Cominciamo il futuro. Ciao Benedette, come stai?
Ciao Mara, sto bene, grazie.
Bene, ciao Nina, come stai?
Ciao, sto bene.
Bene, siamo un piccolo
Sì.
gruppo oggi, quindi sarà facile a fare conversazione. So all the male scenes are going to be played by Doug.
Bravo, bravo.
Okay, allora, since we're a small group, let's touch base on everybody, where you are and how you're feeling about your Italian. I'm going to start with Mary Beth. Let's start with you. How are you feeling about your lessons? How are you feeling about the grammar? What are you having trouble with?
I feel really good about it. I think the trouble I'm having, and we talked about it the other day, is having what I want to say, translating it in my brain, and then getting it out of my mouth.
Okay,
It's
so that's
happening very slowly.
yeah, that's the practice. That's why you have to practice. You have to do those exercises. Like I said to you, when you're by yourself and you're doing things, name the things in Italian, talk to yourself in Italian, write your journal every day, write what you did yesterday. After the lesson today, the homework is going to be, what are you going to do next week? So this is something you have to practice, because that's how you're going to get into that thinking, getting your brain into Italian mode. Okay, Doug, where are you? I'm scared to ask.
Oh, you'll get an honest answer from me. The last couple of weeks in the conversation, while different, I don't remember anything that I learned in the first several months. So I'm back to square one.
So now, when you say you don't remember anything that you learned, is it because you're not practicing enough, or are you not getting enough conversation?
It could be a bunch of everything. I mean, I attempt to practice as much as I can. My writing is fine. My writing and reading I can get. It's my speaking that doesn't work. And so yeah, that's it. And I try to do what you say, and when I see something I say it, but I have no idea if I'm saying it right. So I mean, just walking around the house.
And tell me, are you practicing with Jennifer and Gabby?
Yeah, we try to. It's sort of a challenge because we have other things in the house that that make it difficult, such as we have another family member who only speaks Spanish, so we've got that other language flying around the house at all times.
Yeah, that's the thing. Because I can tell you, Gabby speaks wonderfully. I mean, she understands it perfectly. And Jennifer, although she thinks she doesn't, she does. So between the three of you, you should be pushing Italian quite a bit, because it would help you all in that practicing. And you're all on the same sort of levels of being taught what I'm teaching. So you really should put an effort, the three of you, to speak it, because then like that, it will actually force you to practice. You know what I mean?
I do.
Anyway.
I don't disagree with you.
All right. Okay, good. Bernadette, how are you doing?
Variable, kind of like Doug. I'm good with reading and writing, more or less, but it's the spontaneous, on the spot. I'm horrified at how often my mind goes blank. And then after the fact, I think, darn it, I knew that. Like, why did that disappear?
Yeah, because it's that brain not connecting to your tongue. That's the problem.
Yes.
And
yeah.
it's only through practice that will come right.
Yeah. The kind of handicap that I have is there is no one around me that I can practice with. But I have started talking to myself.
Yes.
I'm alone.
I know it sounds silly to say it, but talk to yourself and practice and say the things. Like I said, you look around you and say, la penna, la matita, adesso prendo la matita, adesso faccio una tazza di caffè, ho fame. Try and think in Italian, and that's how it
Yeah.
will come up. And then as these lessons progress, we're going to do more and more conversation and spontaneous
Yeah.
conversation. So that's going
Uh-huh.
to help you as well.
Yeah, I
Okay.
just wrote down your suggestion about keeping a daily journal. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
Yes,
And
because
I'm going to do that.
it will force you to think, and it will also force you to use the grammar that I'm teaching you.
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
good, excellent. Nina, how are you doing?
Up and down. I talk to myself in Italian, and that does help a lot. Think
Good.
about what I'd say about something. I try to listen to Italian radio, but I don't understand enough when I'm listening to Italian radio. So I would
Okay,
like to be able to do that.
I've got a lovely website you guys must go on to. It's called easyitaliannews.com. And Easy Italian News has got a recording of daily news. So it's current affairs, which you will then understand what's going on because you will obviously have it in your, in English. And then after the news recording, they have the transcript of what was said so that you've got a chance to read it and then translate it at a slower pace. And then what's nice about Easy Italian News is you have the transcript while they're doing the recording, and you can play that recording as often as you want on that day that they post the news. So you can actually listen to the recording while you're reading. Okay, so that helps a lot. Okay.
I love that.
Yeah,
Okay,
try that.
thanks.
That's very good. Okay, good. Eileen, how you doing?
I think most people have said I feel like I'm better in reading, like comprehension with reading and a little bit of writing, reading mostly. Speaking is the worst for me as well. Like it's like when I read it, I can understand the gist of what it's saying, but then to have to create a sentence on my own from scratch, it's more difficult.
Yeah, that's the main problem with speaking Italian. Like I said, people have done, excuse me, I'm taking my jacket off because it's a bit hot. People have done the Duolingos, they've done the apps, they've done many lessons, they've bought the books, they've done everything you can think of to get the grammar. So that's why why reading and writing is better than speaking. So this is where you have to come in with the practice of speaking to yourself, listening to the news, listening to anything you can in Italian, watch the movies with subtitles, get that ear, for the Italian language. That's the only way it's going to happen, because studying is fine, but it's only going to help your reading and comprehension. Okay, and Deborah, how are you? Come stai?
Okay, I need to practice more. I like the idea of talking to yourself in Italian. I haven't done that yet, but I need to start doing that. Sometimes my comprehension isn't as I have trouble remembering some of the vocabulary. So that's just a matter of I have to really review things. I'm more of a visual learner, so I have to keep looking at it in order for it to stick with me, not just saying it. So I try to read things. I'm on Facebook with family from Italy, so I do get some messages and things. So, but that's more reading, and so I try to understand, what they're saying before I go ahead and hit the translation button.
Yeah.
And so that helps. But yeah, I have a lot to work on. Yeah.
The thing is, now we've gone through, like I said, you don't need to know 1,000 of the rules in Italian to speak. And most of you want to learn to speak. It's not that you're writing a degree on Italian, and you don't have to speak Italian perfectly with the correct tenses in perfect order. As long as, like I was saying at my boot camp, as long as you get your pronunciation right, and as long as you have your vocab, and as long as you're able to construct the sentence in a reasonably good manner, that's where you start building your confidence and you start speaking. Now, the only way you can do that is when we do, because my grammar explanations are very simplified and making it as easy as possible so that you can use them in your everyday language. But it's important for you to do the exercises soon after the lesson and for that week until the next lesson. Do what we learned and write out those sentences, write out those journals, practice. Because if you don't, and if you don't send me, I mean, this last week, I haven't received anything from anyone. So I don't know, are you practicing? Are you writing? Are you actually putting in that effort? Because if you're not, you're going to fall behind. And then you're going to feel frustrated and demoralized because you're not progressing as you would like to. Okay, so it's only through having the feedback and having the practice that you're going to get better. Okay, so if you stop and you just think, this is too much, it's just too much effort and it's not going anywhere, it's not going to help you. So if you're having trouble with past tense, drop me a mail. I've got trouble with past tense. Tell me why so that I can help you. Okay, these lessons are very short and it's difficult if it's not a one-on-one, but I'm trying to give you as much value for these lessons as I can in this short space of time. And that's why I've made myself available after the lessons via email. And even if you need to do a WhatsApp call, if it's necessary for you to do and you feel you need my help, please reach out to me. That's what I'm here for. Okay, so it's not here just giving you grammar and leaving you on your own, and then next week we do some more grammar. No, I want you to speak. That's the whole point of these lessons. Okay. So if you have any trouble, please reach out to me. I'm available the whole week before the next lesson. All right. Okay, so today we are going to do the future tense. So we've done present, we've done past, we're now going to do future. Future can be a bit confusing. I'm sorry, I'm going to try and explain it in the best way that I can and to try and help you get to use it as best as I can. But unfortunately, the future can be a bit confusing because there are a lot of irregulars, and these are just words that you're going to have to learn, and there's just no way around it. Okay, so let's start at the beginning. All right, so the first thing you must know is in Italian, we don't only use the future for future. We also use the future for present. So that sometimes confuses people as well, because you're talking in the future, but it's actually talking about an assumption, an expectation, or an uncertain event that could happen. They usually speak with the future. So let's see how to conjugate it. All right, so the most confusing to conjugate is the are. All your verbs ending in are. Why? Because you have to take the verb itself with the are. You're going to drop. So now if you look at this word here, studiare, can you all see my screen?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay, so you take the word studiare. It ends in are. What do you have to do? You have to drop the E, and then this A, you're going to have to change it to an E. So that's what you're going to do with all your regular are verbs. Okay, so you drop your last E, and your A you change to an E. And then your conjugation is O for io, I for tu, A for lui or lei, emo for noi, ete for voi, and anno for loro. Okay, so just make a note of those conjugations, because we're going to do practice just now, and then you won't be able to see the screen when we go to the exercise. Okay, so it's O for io, I for tu, A for lui o lei, emo for noi, ete for voi, and anno for loro. So how does it look conjugated? So if you take studiare, like I said, you drop your last E, you change your A to an E, and you've got studierò, studierai, studierà, studieremo, studierete, studieranno. Okay, so if we take the verb cantare, to sing, let's see, I'm going to ask Bernadette because you've got a slight advantage. Okay, so let's go to cantare. Cantare, how would you conjugate cantare to io?
Canterò,
Good. Tu,
canterai,
lui o lei?
canterà,
Good. Noi,
canteremo,
voi,
canterete,
and loro?
canteranno,
Okay. Mary Beth, portare.
Portare. Porterò.
Yep.
Porterai.
Yep.
Porterà.
Yep.
Porteremo.
Yep.
Porterete. Porteranno.
Good. Let's do Nina. Tirare.
Tiro.
Yeah.
Tirei.
Yeah.
Tirei a. Tireremo.
Tirerà.
Tirerà a. Tireremo.
Tireremo.
Tireremo. Tirerete. Tireranno.
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 Yeah. You've got to keep that last R there. So you've got a double R, 2 R's in there. Tireranno. All right. Any questions on this so far? All right. Then
You said that you use future for both present and future.
yes, sometimes if you're in the
How
present.
does
How does that work?
sorry to make you speak English on here, but how does something like any of those, like studiare, how does it function in both present and future? And
I'll
why
give you.
would it be different from portare?
No, not always. It's not all the verbs. It's just in certain instances. You've got some phrases that you can use that are actually in the present that you're using the future. I'll give you some examples at the end of this. I've put quite a few together so you can
Okay.
see. Okay, but don't worry too much about that. I just thought I'd let you know so that if you do hear it, you don't get confused as to why. All right, but now we're going to concentrate it as being future for future tense only. Okay, so let's see to do this. Prossimo anno noi frequentare l'università. So I want you to change the verbs into future. All right, so I want all of you to do that so that you all do it, and then I'll tell you what the answers are. Okay, so the first one is prossimo anno noi frequentare l'università. Next year we will frequent the university, or we'll go to university. I nonni arrivare la settimana prossima. Grandparents will arrive next week. Il coro cantare al Teatro Verdi martedì. The choir will sing at the Verdi Theatre on Tuesday. Io partecipare al nuovo corso di italiano. I participated at the new course of Italian. I will participate at the new course of Italian. Gli studenti imparare una nuova lingua. The students will learn a new language. Okay, so just conjugate those 5. Okay, are you all done? Okay, so the first one would be Nina. Prossimo anno noi.
Prossimo anno noi frequenteremo or l'università.
Good, correct. Doug, I nonni.
I nonni arriveranno la settimana prossima.
Correct. Deborah, il coro.
Il coro cantano al Teatro Verdi martedì.
Okay, so now you're not doing present, you're doing future. So you've got to change that. Cantare, you've got to drop your last E. change your A to an E, and you've got il coro canterà.
Okay, il coro canterà.
Correct. And it's
Okay.
singular because it's il coro. So it's masculine. So you would conjugate it
Ah.
to lui.
Okay, so choir isn't, I was thinking they, but it's not.
No, it's
Ah,
singular.
okay,
If it was
singular.
I cori, then it would be plural. But il tells you that it's one, singular. Il coro.
Okay,
Good. Okay. Bernadette, io.
Io parteciperò
Good.
al nuovo corso di italiano.
Correct. Parteciperò. Good. And Eileen?
Gli studenti impareranno una nuova lingua.
Correct. Good. Anyone have questions before we move to ere? No? Okay. So ere is formed in the same way as are. You drop your final E, but in this case, you don't have to worry about changing anything because it's already got an E. So it's the same conjugation as your are. So leggere would become io leggerò, tu leggerai, lui o lei leggerà, noi leggeremo, voi leggerete, loro leggeranno. All right, and ire, same as for the ere, but you do not changing your I, you're keeping it as is, and you're just adding your conjugation. So for partire, io partirò, tu partirai, lui o lei partirà, noi partiremo, voi partirete, loro partiranno. Okay, pretty easy. Right, here are your exercises. So now these are mixed. So you've got are, you've got ire, and you've got ere. Do the same thing we did for the previous exercise. Conjugate the verb into the future. Noi partire per l'Italia il mese prossimo. We will leave to go to Italy next month. Gli studenti leggere molti libri. The students will read many books. Tu e Carlo ripetere la lezione. You and Carlo, which is plural, will repeat the lesson. Il negoziante vendere la verdura. The shop owner, la merce, sorry. Il negoziante, the shop owner, will sell all his stock. Noi capire le nuove regole, non preoccuparti. We will understand the new rules, don't worry. Gli atleti correre per un'ora. The athletes will run for an hour. Tu lavorare fino a tardi. You will work until late. Tu finire I compiti domani mattina. You will finish your work tomorrow morning, your homework tomorrow morning. Oggi io insegnare la sesta lezione. Today I will teach you the sixth lesson. Tu comprare una bicicletta gialla. You will buy a yellow bicycle. Okay, is everyone done? Anyone still busy?
Yeah, still busy.
Okay, give me a shout when you're done.
Done.
Okay. Nina, Eileen, you're still great, but still busy?
Oh.
One more.
Okay. Okay, Eileen, you're done?
Yep.
Okay, good. So, noi partire per l'Italia il mese prossimo, Mary Beth.
Noi partiremo per l'Italia il mese prossimo.
Good. Gli studenti leggere molti libri, Doug.
Gli studenti leggeranno molti libri.
Good. Tu e Carlo ripetere la lezione. Bernadette.
Tu e Carlo ripeterete la lezione.
Good. Il negoziante vendere tutta la merce. Nina.
Negoziante venderà tutta la merce.
Good. And noi capire le regole nuove, non preoccuparti. Eileen.
Noi capiremo le nuove regole, non preoccuparti.
Good. Gli atleti correre per un'ora. Deborah.
Gli atleti correranno per un'ora.
E correranno.
Correranno.
Correranno. Ok. Tu lavorare fino a tardi. Nina.
Tu lavorerai fino a tardi.
Good. Tu lavorerai fino a tardi. Tu finire i compiti domani mattina, Doug.
Tu finirai i compiti domani mattina.
Good. Oggi io insegnare la sesta lezione. Mary Beth.
Oggi io insegnerò la sesta lezione.
Good. Tu comprare una bicicletta gialla. Bernadette.
Tu comprerai una bicicletta gialla.
Excellent. Okay. Any questions on the future?
Oh, yeah, I do have one question. It looks like the way to conjugate for verbs ending ere, are, and ire are all the same.
Yes.
Am I missing something, or is that accurate?
No, the conjugations are all the same. The only difference
Excellent.
is with are, instead of the A-R-E, you're going to change it to an E. The ere stays the same, which is correct, and the ire, you keep the I. But the conjugation itself,
Okay,
the conjugation itself is the same for all three.
great.
Okay. All right, so now just before we end, I'm going to give you a bit of bad news, which is the irregular verbs. All right, so these are the verbs that you're not going to change that are, that A into an E, because it won't sound right. So they've dropped it completely. So these are the verbs, and unfortunately, like I said, these are just verbs you have to know, you have to learn them, and you will learn them through practice. So just make a note of them and then see to conjugate them. I will send you this by email. So it's just now
Oh,
to make
great.
notes is basically just to practice so that you get the hang of it. Okay, so andare has no E. So you can see the andare, the A has been dropped completely and they've just put the conjugation. So it's io andrò, tu andrai, lui o lei andrà, noi andremo, voi andrete, loro andranno. So you can see the conjugation is the same. The only thing that's different is the fact that it doesn't have that E. Okay.
Mhm.
The same thing with avere. So it's the same conjugation. So it's avrò, avrai, avrà, avremo, avrete, avranno. The same thing with dovere, potere, vivere. Okay. And then you have verbs that take a double R. Okay, and that's for pronunciation purposes. And the verbs that take a double R are venire. So venire becomes verrò. Volere, vorrò. Bere, berrò. Rimanere, rimarrò. Okay. And then, of course, you just have verbs which are simply irregular and have no rhyme or reason. And that's your essere, which we know is always irregular in all the tenses. So essere becomes io sarò, tu sarai, lui o lei sarà, noi saremo, voi sarete, and loro saranno. Okay, then you've got irregular fare. Io farò, tu farai, lei farà, noi faremo, voi farete, loro faranno. And stare, dare, and dire. Okay, so those are the type of verbs that you have that are irregular. There aren't many, and they are used in everyday conversation, so it is important for you to know them. Okay. So that is basically your past tense. I'm not going to give you more information to that because I think that was enough. All right, so your homework is write me a paragraph on what you're planning to do during the week or for the week. I'm going to give you a little example quickly before we go. Stop away. Okay, so you write a paragraph describing your plans for the upcoming week. For example, you can say, la prossima settimana inizierò una nuova routine. Ogni mattina mi sveglierò presto e andrò a correre nel parco. Dopo di ciò farò una colazione sana e poi lavorerò ai miei progetti. Nel pomeriggio studierò italiano per 2 ore. La sera cucinerò la cena e guarderò un film. Nel fine settimana visiterò i miei amici e passeremo un bel tempo insieme. Credo che questa nuova routine mi aiuterà a sentirmi più produttivo e felice. Okay, so I was being a little bit optimistic that you're going to study Italian every day for 2 hours. Okay, so I'm going to send you this by email so that you have it as well as an example so that you can see how you're going to put your future tense. Okay, any questions?
No.
Wasn't too bad, was it? No?
No.
No, just a few irregulars that you need to practice and learn. Other than that, you should be fine. Okay, good. All right, any questions before we go? No? All good. All right then. Good luck with this week's homework and enjoy practicing your present, your past, and your future. So now you've got 3 verbs to work with. So whatever you write in your journals, whatever you do, you can do present, you can do past, you can do future. If you want to put together a paragraph using all 3 tenses and send it to me for correction, please, like I said, feel free. You don't have to wait only for homework. If you wake up and you feel like being inspired and write something in Italian, write it to me. I'm very happy to respond. Okay.
Thank you.
It's all about practice. And like I said, I'm available to you guys. So if you need my help with anything, please reach out. Okay.
Thank you. Grazie.
Prego.
Thanks.
Ci vediamo la prossima settimana.
Sì.
Arrivederci e buon lavoro a
Arrivederci.
tutti. Ciao.
Arrivederci.
Ciao.
Grazie mille.
Ciao.
Prego. Ciao.